First question.
Whichever you would find more use from. Let's do your areas of weakness.
Okay. Where do I go to share? It has been a while.
So you go down to where like there's you got
Oh,
like
there it
your
is. Yeah.
Zoom screen. You should see like chat, like share.
There we go. There you go.
Excellent,
Right.
excellent.
So, I mean, it wasn't the mastery like you said that I needed to get on the first one, but the weakest one was um domain two and domain three. And I
Domain
guess,
two is hard for everyone. It
yeah.
is those foundational skills. Domain two includes phonemic awareness, morphemic analysis, right? Syllabication, all of that stuff. So it has the nitty gritty and the most unknown for us. It's what we didn't really pay attention to before there was STR. We didn't go into the specifics of phonological awareness in such a systematic way prior to science of teaching reading.
Yeah. Mhm. So this is where I believe domain two question started.
Okay. So I think
And
you can click on the one you got wrong. You can click on the
yeah,
little the red one or just click through all of them.
yeah. And since I got these were very I guess it's what the part my hardest part was when they like what should the teacher do next?
Right. What should a teacher do next? And that's where the teaks really come in handy, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a particular order in which we introduce the skills. We like, for instance, when we're doing phonemic awareness, we don't start off with like the word patterns like CV, CC. We start with just CV words and you right consonant or not consonant vowels, vowel consonant, VC words like it, in, at. We don't jump into words like love yet in as far as spelling and breaking the words down. So there are particular patterns of English language that we begin to teach first for them to get a handle on, teach them how the words break apart into different syllables so that they can get those more complex word patterns later on. And so for this one that you got wrong, right off the bat, I'm seeing we're in first grade when they tell you, especially with STR, because it matters. We do different things with kindergartners than we do with third graders, right? For science of teaching reading, for all of the levels, kinder, first, second, third, going on fourth, fifth, and sixth, even. There's a specific way and a specific task and focus on foundational reading skills, literacy skills at each of those levels, which is why it's so very important for an STR teacher to have a solid understanding of those TEKS so that whenever they mention, first grade, second grade, third grade, okay, this is the flow of knowledge and skills with which they should acquire in each of the areas of STR,
Yeah.
oral language, foundational reading skills, reading fluency, etc. So let's read this scenario. We have a first grade class includes English language learners. That is another keyword and phrase that they've just given you. We're only 5 words in, and we already have 4 really important words that are going to be important for what a particular activity or the particular choice a teacher must make for the class. Because remember, it's all of the learners, however diverse. So the specifics and the particulars and the differences are important, and we need to support all of this. So they've already told us first grade, and they includes English language learners, which means we know that this teacher should be considering extra supports for language acquisition for English language learners, representing 9 different linguistic, representing 9. Man, this is a teacher that has a large, diverse population, 9 different linguistic, cultural backgrounds. Think about that. That's a lot of diversity. At the end of the school year, the teacher conducts a family literacy project in my bedroom, Chris. in which students engage with family. So I don't hear this. Family and community members to produce student authored and illustrated bilingual picture books. So at the end of the year, another keyword and phrase, they told us other important details. Remember, the devil is in the details. So the fact that it's 9, it's not like she's going to have 9 different lessons or 9 different things. It just means that she's going to put in a lot of supports, and the activity is going to be nuanced to include everyone. So it's an end of the year, end of the school year, which is a time marker, right? It takes place not at the beginning, not at the middle, at the end. She conducts this family literacy project in which the students engage with family and community members to produce. So each student is engaging with both their family and their community members. So like their church members, whatever, legs of the community they are part of, or spokes of the community, they're going to reach out and engage with those. First, the teacher reads aloud family heritage books. So another time marker. This is what she does first, reading aloud family heritage books from a variety of cultures and or linguistic groups. For example, Arabic, Chinese, Mexican, Vietnamese, to prepare students for the project task. So in effect, she's modeling what they'll be doing a little bit, right? Because they will be, in effect, creating a family heritage book, right? That bilingual picture book that they're going to be doing is a type of family heritage book because they're engaging with their family and the community. To prepare the students for the project's task, i.e. sharing a family story with pictures and artifacts. To accommodate students, making accommodations, students varying levels of English language proficiency, students can select from a range of formats for their books, i.e. picture books with labels only, picture books with simple sentences. The teacher sends home project instructions translated in each student's home language. Another accommodation that she's doing that is vital for the success, because the parents and the family are involved in this. So the home language has to be given in the direction as well. Family members and community volunteers help translate each student's family story into English or another language as needed. Each student produces a book that is written in English and at least one other language. So it has both languages, right? So it is code switches a bit, if you will, with home language and translation to English with picture books. Now they can she's given them a choice, which is again, another differentiation of instruction. She is allowing for the students to show what they know and participate in the language activity based on their skill level. So if they are beginners, we know they're not going to be able to write simple sentences in English, and neither are their families because they're probably all beginners as well. They might have to do picture and one word, right? Picture and words.
Yeah.
But our intermediates, our advanced students, they will be able to utilize simple sentences, especially if we provide sentence frames for them as a springboard to make their own sentences, which could be another accommodation. They didn't say it here, but she could have done it. And it would have been an accommodation for even the beginners to sort of use the one word that they know that they were going to explain and put it in a sentence frame, but that's fine. Let's take a look at what the question is asking us. Which of the following tasks involved in generating a bilingual book for the family project is best aligned with performance expectations for English language learners of advanced level of English language proficiency? So the question is giving keywords and phrases too. They didn't tell us any of the ELL levels in the scenario, but in the question they gave us advanced level. So we know we have beginner, intermediate, which I just talked about, And advanced level, the last one is advanced high. That's comparable, not nearly, it is comparable exactly, like parallel to a native English speaker. No supports. To be honest with you, the writing is phenomenal. I taught advanced high students every year, for like 7 years at a time, in succession. And year after year after year, my advanced high ELL students were my best writers. Something about their access to two language gave them more access to more syntax, sentence structure. They played with it and worked well with it better after they understood it, and their access to more language. So but they're asking about advanced level, and advanced level does still need practice and supports. So let's take a look. We're looking for which of the tasks that they have to do, and they do several different tasks here. Aligns with girls. Sorry. Aligns with performance expectations. We have expectations that we grade them by at the end of the year with the TELPAS assessments. There's expectations for each of them in oral language proficiency, which is listening and speaking, and then in their reading and writing, right? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And there are descriptors and expectations for each of them at each level. I'm sorry, one moment. What? So which one aligns with advanced? So you can go and read these and I should have it there. If it don't, I'm going to put it there, but it has such a great breakdown. It's strategies, ELPS strategies, and it's from TEA, and it gives like that very nice short descriptors, list of descriptors and expectations for each of the levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. And for all of the areas: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So
there was a bunch of questions in regards to English language learners, and it definitely was overwhelming.
Okay, I have a lot of really good videos on English language learners and supporting them, especially in my PPR section, because there are a lot of questions in the PPR for regarding support of English language learners in all of the areas, in all of the content areas, because it's all of our job: the PE teacher, the theater, English language arts, math teachers, to help the students not only acquire the content. So you're not just a math teacher, you're also a person who is actively helping all of your ELL students acquire English as a second language, practicing, utilizing those supports and skills to get them to practice not only their social, language, but their academic specific language in each of the content areas. So let's take a look. Writing their own detailed sentences for their story without the support of sentence frames or text structure template. Generating a simple sentence under each of the illustrations in their book using sentence starters provided by their teacher. Generating their own sentences for the stories following a text structure template provided by the teacher. Writing a couple of words or phrases under each illustration in their book to provide appropriate English label. So let's take a look at these. We already know, because it's highlighted for us very obviously, that C is the correct answer, but let's take a look at why the others are not. I want for you to look at A, B, and C and tell me which one of these expectations would you have for a beginner? A
Or
and
phrases.
B. Which one?
Letter D, writing a couple of words or phrases under each.
Absolutely. That's what we would have a beginner do. Now, on the opposite end of beginner, we have advanced high. Remember, I told you advanced high is equal to or better than a native English speaker. What would be out of A and B?
It'd be letter A, writing their own detailed sentences.
without
Like the
support.
support.
Zero,
Yeah.
no support. They are good to go. Now, for intermediates, what would be the best choice for it? You already know, right? Because it's the last one
It'd
left.
be simple
Right. Remember, I
sentences.
told you she could have done the simple structure for them, and that's to help them, the intermediates, to create their own. Now, with our advanced, it's a little less supportive because they gave a text structure, but not sentence stems, right? Not that
Yeah.
basic simple sentence. It's more complex. They have to follow a text structure, so like maybe an article or a paragraph where they have to see like what exactly do I have to replicate and produce for mine. So it's a little bit more challenging. Actually, it's a lot bit more challenging than just the sentence starter, right? Sentence starter is much easier and much larger of a support than just giving them a text, because that's not a sentence starter. It's a text, so they have to figure out what is it that I have to give for my own sentence and my own text. So do you see why C is the correct level? Because students would be expected to generate their own sentences in English with some scaffolded language support. A text structure template provides students with an organized structure and connecting words relevant to an academic academic language task. Such a template would provide advanced level English learners with an appropriate scaffold. A model supports by helping them connect the sentences they have generated in a logical way, thereby helping them convey their ideas more clearly and effectively. But advanced students have more language to play with, so they are able to, analyze this task, utilize those scaffold supports to
Yeah.
bridge their known language with what we've provided and generate something more. They have that knowledge of the language, right? The skill level in the language that a beginner and an intermediate would not be able to do that task. That would be way too difficult, and it would be unnecessary for our advanced high.
Yeah, I think I wish I would have known. I wish they would tell me which answer I chose. It's not seeming like it gives me the answer choice that I picked.
I know it really isn't, and it's supposed to show you because I know it shows you in the. There you
Yeah.
go. You pick A. Perfect.
Okay, there you go. Okay, A. Okay, because I was thinking maybe I missed the part where it said advanced level, but
Right.
I
And so
guess
you were close, but that's advanced high. That's too advanced for advanced. We
okay.
still give some support. And some support is like, we'll give them a paragraph and tell them you have to write a couple of sentences
Okay.
commiserate with this. And they have to see like what's here and what do I need to say to model after. But you were close, and I get you just didn't read that question detailed enough to know it wasn't the highest level. So the highest level without any support would be advanced high level.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You
Let's see.
won't miss a question like this next time, which is
Yeah, absolutely.
why it's good to go over what you got wrong in this way, because you will now forever remember the difference between advanced and advanced high. And when you see that,
Yeah,
you're going to be mindful of it because it tricked you this time.
absolutely. And this is the it was a block of questions.
Okay, let's take a look at this one. So, during an informal assessment of academic language skills, a third grade, so they've told us several things, keywords and phrases. This is an informal assessment, not formal, but we're checking academic specific language. We're looking at their academic language, and this is third grade. A third grade student combines two sentences into, so this is sentence combining, a grammar or syntactical activity. This is syntax, this sentence combination. We want them to combine two sentences into a longer sentence. A representative sample of the student's oral language performance in this part of the assessment appears below. Prompt. The kid was so happy. Today was the kid's birthday. The student's response was, the kid was so happy because today was his birthday. Her dog escaped from the yard. The lady was frantic. The lady was frantic when her dog escaped from the yard. Which of the following conclusions is most clearly supported by this evidence? Okay, let's take a look at the answer choices. You said the student produces complex sentences effectively to express a causal relationship between events. The student produces pronouns correctly, the agreement in person and number to a preceding noun. The student produces the past tense effectively to refer the actions that were completed in the past. The student produces prepositional phrases correctly to increase the complexity of an idea. So we know that A is correct. And so the kid was so happy today was his birthday. The kid was so happy because, so it is, in fact, she's changing it. She or he is changing the sentence to a more complex sentence. And that's the goal of sentence combining. That's always the goal of sentence combining. It's not to change your pronouns or correct past tense, but it can be used to assess prepositional phrases correctly. But typically, like 99% of the time, when I do sentence combining activities, it is to increase the complexity of their sentence structure, of the syntax. I want for them to increase the complexity, and they did it to express the causal relationship between events, that the kid was happy because today is the birthday. The lady is frantic because her dog is missing, right? So A is correct in the assessment evidence provided. The student used the causal conjunction because and when, causal conjunctions, effectively to combine the two sentences. So reading this is much better than reading this in a student's writing. And when a student writes, like for instance, the teachers that take the ELAR 4 through 8 and 7 through 12, they have to assess a student's writing. And many times the state will give them examples of a student's writing with short and choppy sentences with these, and it feels like stopping it. It's like in a car where you're hitting the brakes and you're every time there's a period, you go forward and get whiplash. There's no flow to it. And so we utilize sentence combining activities so that the students can combine their ideas into more complex sentences, and there is a better flow to their writing. So events described in the sentences. Causal conjunctions are words or phrases used to provide a cause, reason, explanation for a given action within the sentence. They link action to the cause. So write that down on your standards. Our causal, we have coordinating conjunctions. We have different conjunctions that we utilize within a sentence, and they do different things, right? For language.
Okay.
So and the key word and phrase that you could have used to sort of say to yourself, well, actually they kind of use it in other areas too, so that was a tricky one. But the academic language skills, the assessment of academic language skills, so they're your assessment of causal conjunctions and their ability to use them. Because when.
Yeah.
So if the sentence had been like, after the dog escaped from the yard, the lady was frantic, that would have been prepositional phrases.
Okay.
Utilizing prepositional phrases. I
get it. Okay.
One moment.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at this one. Right away, my alarm bells are looking at second grade.
Yep.
A second grade teachers administrators, not administrators, administers a phoneme awareness measure. Individually, important word that's happening here. Phonemic awareness measure individually to 6 students who are struggling with word level reading and spelling. We have second grade, 6 students, and she's administering a phonemic awareness measure individually to them. And because they are struggling with word level reading and spelling, the student results on the assessment fall into categories. Sorry, I need reading glasses. I am now going to be 41 in March, and I have been thinking, man, I need to go get new glasses because I've been having trouble reading on my computer and on my phone, and it just occurred to me that I'm old and that I don't need new glasses. I actually need reading glasses because
Yeah.
it took me a while to catch on. Anyway, so fall into 2 categories. Group 1, 3 of the 2 students can consistently identify the initial and final phonemes in CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant words, but not the medial phoneme. For example, when asked to identify each of the speech sounds in the word bat, a student in the group would respond b. Group 2, my second grader just looked at me like, what is going on? Because she's in second grade and she would never, if I said, she's looking at me like, what's she talking about, Willis? I know there's a in there. Group 2, the other 3 students have mastered segmenting and blending the initial, final, and medial phonemes in spoken CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant words, but do not perceive the internal consonant in the words containing consonant clusters. For example, when asked to segment the speech sounds in the word cream, a student in this group would respond leaving out the leaving out the cream, which so they left out the sound. Keem, yeah, Keem. She's like Keem. Yes, Keem. Which of the following statements best explains the rationale for the teacher's decision to assess the student's phonemic awareness? Which of the following statements best explains her rationale? What's her reasoning? Whenever they say rationale, what's the logic behind this? Why is she doing this? And what is she doing? She individually measured them, and then she grouped them after having measured them into these 2, right? She groups of assess, their skills level. So let's take a look. In an alphabetic language such as English, the ability to perceive the sequence of sounds in spoken words supports student learning to reading and spelling words. Understanding the concept that visual symbols, letters, or letter combinations represents the sounds of spoken words is a prerequisite to unlocking the written code of the alphabetic language. Understanding the concept that spoken language is made up of sounds is prerequisite to understanding the role that sounds play in the alphabetic language. In an alphabetic language such as English, the ability to translate independently a visual symbol, letter, or letter combination into a sound supports students decoding and encoding words. So phonemic awareness is so incredibly important. In fact, if you'll look at the phonemic awareness section within your TEKS, it's a lot of skills. It's a lot of concepts and a lot of skills going to phonemic awareness. And it is the building blocks and the cornerstone to literacy, unlocking students being able to unlock literacy later on. So in an alphabetic language such as English, the ability to perceive sequence of sounds, that phonemic awareness skills to hear the individual speech sounds, it's essential and supports students learning to read and spell words correctly. It's important for them to be able to hear, because they're going to start spelling phonetically, right? The more they understand the individual speech sounds that are there, the more correct their reading and spelling will be. So option A is correct, because phonemic awareness is an essential prerequisite for accurate decoding and spelling of words in a language with an alphabetic writing system. The students in the scenario are described as struggling readers and spellers. They said that, right? They are struggling with word level reading and spelling. So our goal is to help them with that. So in order to do that, we have to see, like, where are they at in their knowledge? The students in this scenario are described as struggling readers and spellers, and the assessment data indicate that both groups of students have difficulty perceiving the basics in phonemes, closed syllables. And what else does it say? Group 1 has difficulty with CVC words, while group 2 has difficulty with CVCC, CCVC words. This evidence suggests that students are still at the beginning stage of reading development. It does. It tells us they're not yet advanced up. They're still needing phonemic awareness skill supports. In order to decode an unfamiliar word accurately, readers at this stage must map the correct sounds into the graphemes in a printed word and then blend the sounds back together in the correct sequence to pronounce a recognizable word. This process requires both knowledge of letter sound relationships and phonemic awareness skills. By assessing the student's phonemic awareness skills, the teacher can determine if the student's decoding difficulty stems from difficulty in perceiving the sounds in the word, or segmenting the sounds in words sequentially. So is it difficulty perceiving the sounds or segmenting them into groups and blending them?
I think for this one, I thought of it, or I guess I was thinking phonological awareness. I guess when I confused the terms at
Right.
the moment.
Yeah, and the thing is that phonological awareness is the umbrella. Phonological awareness encompasses lots of different skills. It's the umbrella under which phonemic awareness is, because phonemic is the understanding of the individual speech sounds. Phonological awareness includes identifying speech sounds, it includes syllabication, it includes morphemic analysis, it includes like letter sound correspondence. That's part of phonological awareness, but phonemic awareness is individual speech sounds.
Yeah, because the way I look at it, the way I've kind of come to look at it is phonological awareness is like how you think about the word. You know, like you're starting to learn about it. You know, you're clapping to hear the consonant. I mean,
Right,
the syllables.
right,
And for phonemic awareness is you're starting to, sound out those syllables that you're learning about.
right.
So it's more about, talking, saying the word, and applying all those phonological skills.
That's correct.
Okay. Let's see the next one. Here we go.
All right. A first grade teacher is planning phonemic awareness, another phonemic awareness instruction. So it's first grade. My alarm bells went off. We know what first graders need to be learning and what they need to be able to do, right? From looking at our TEKS, analyzing them, and sort of just summarizing. Kindergartners need to be able to do this. First graders need to be able to do this in this order. Second graders, etc. So a first grade teacher is planning phonemic awareness instruction. Focus on distinguishing between short and long vowel sounds in single syllable words. Which of the following instructional strategy will be most appropriate for this purpose? So she is focusing her instruction on the students being able to distinguish between short and long vowel sounds in single syllable words. First grade. So which of the following strategies is most appropriate for this purpose? Now, having students practice blending individual phonemes in 3 or 4 phoneme words presented orally by the teacher. Engaging students in phoneme substitution activities focus on the medial phoneme in 3 phoneme words. So that should have tipped you off automatically, because 3 phoneme words and they're single syllable. So typically single syllables are going to be those CVC words, right? Bought, bat, bet. So engage, and the next one is having students practice segmenting spoken single syllable words consisting of 4 and 5 phonemes, engaging students in phoneme deletion activities using words consisting of 3 or more phonemes. I would have chosen B, because we are engaging them. It's just more the ones that begin with engaging, instead of having the students practice by themselves. Engaging the students in an activity is always a better choice. But for this in particular, based on the specifics that they gave us, the short and long vowel sounds, and that the fact that it's a single syllable word, I would keep it to the smallest amount of phonemes, the shortest word pattern, if you will, to show them the and substitute different vowel sounds to show them short vowels and long vowel sounds and how they are different in each word. Because you might get into, with multiple phonemes, for instance, cream, right? Cream, right? Cream. It's only one syllable, right?
Yes.
So, but you have different vowels there. You have a vowel team. And so that's not going to be a good example, or that would be confusing for the student.
Okay, this is where I have to really do bigger deep diving into the teaks, because
Right.
I'm assuming 4 or 5 phonemes. Not the best way to start off a first grader doing things like this.
Right. So you would want to let's take a look at what they say. B is the correct option, because this activity targets the medial or vowel sound in a simple single syllable word, and targeting the medial is the vowel. So it's consonant, vowel, consonant, and we're gonna substitute that medial sound, the vowel sound, to illustrate and have the students listen to see how one changes the sound of the word. A phoneme substitution activity has students listen to the one word and change it to another word by changing just one sound or phoneme. In this case, students must focus on the word's medial sound, saying not, when they say the word with the middle sound ah instead of note. Another benefit of engaging students in a phoneme substitution activity is that changing a phoneme also changes the meaning of the word. Changing a single phoneme results in the change of the meaning. And so that morphemic knowledge is being identified, and they're making a connection that it also, the sound changes the meaning as well. This substitution, this reinforces the students the important concept that phonemes are the smallest unit of sound that can change a word's meaning. Another advantage of this activity is that it can also be used to help students who are having difficulty distinguishing between the short vowel sounds by changing not to nat, net, knit, nut. So these are set like this one activity, and they gave you 3 reasons why it's meaningful. You should write that down, this section down, and that activity for one of your own activities
Yeah.
on the exam, right? And it gives you a good illustration of why you would use that. The advantage of using it is that it can also help them in these 3 ways. It helps them with morphemic knowledge, phonemic knowledge, and it has them, with distinguishing between short and short vowel sounds. So it helps in 3 different ways. This one activity, create language knowledge. That phonological awareness is what we're building. All of those things, all of the levels that they gained from language here, or the usefulness of this activity, they're all skills that we need them to practice in phonological awareness. So one of them was phonemic awareness. One of them had to do with more morphemic awareness, the meaning of a word. And so all of it is in the pursuit of phonological awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like the idea of using some of these, ideas that they give us here in the exam for activities as well. I mean, that's true.
Yeah, if they give you an example that's great like this, and this is great, then you should, certainly write it down for, future reference,
Yeah, absolutely.
because they get and write it the way they say it. Give them the language that they want. And you can, for example, changing not, nat, net. Be that specific with your illustration to them, with your explanation about why I chose this to help this particular foundational reading skill that that I identified in these particular assessments that they gave me.
Yeah.
So continue using these. And if you want to come back on, I would love it if you could come to Thursday's class and bring your tests so we could do more of these analyzing, because I really feel like this is the best instructional tool right
Yeah,
now for
definitely.
us. Because I can also explain to you like the concept that is being tested here, and also what keywords and phrases might have helped you better answer that.
No, I don't think I have anything going on this Thursday for Thursday evening, right?
That's correct.
No, I should be able to make it. I don't have no more scrimmages, things like that. So,
Excellent. You are going to be our star pupil because you're going to be utilizing your assessment.
yeah. Okay, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carlos. And don't worry, you're doing well. And the more we work at these things, the more common knowledge is going to be for you, and you'll automatically think, oh, okay, I see this is first grade, I need to tone it down for first grade, which means that the spelling pattern is going to be like more basic, right? Especially when
Yeah.
we're trying to get them to acquire a skill.
On a last note, for in regards to the essay, I know you recommended Pinterest to us a lot,
Mhm.
but I was really struggling to find activities to help with the reading comprehension. Different pack, like for the prosody, things like that for comprehension, and
Mhm.
that's one part that I just got stuck in, and when I was doing the essay.
Right. What's for prosody, tone?
Or just and for the comprehension part of the question.
Okay, well, I'm going to look up some good activities, and we're going to also keep an eye out for that in the I want for you to look through this document. Look at the reading comprehension questions here and what activities
Mhm.
they suggested that the teacher do to support that student.
Okay. And
Yeah, within this document.
I've seen in some of your videos that you have a TEKS document that not only has the TEKS, but right next to it, it has a section where it says the teacher can do this. Um, I don't know how else to explain that, and I found it very interesting, very because that seemed like my weakest point on what the teacher does next, what the teacher does.
I'm gonna have to look. Maybe it's my ELO one. What did it have? Nice graphics.
No, it was just it had the teaks on one side, on the left side, and on the right side, for every teaks, it said the teacher can do this, and
Oh, those are the standards. Yeah, those are the reading standards. So let me stop your share and I'm gonna